Bob, I think maybe we should start with you introducing Shannon. Not everybody knows that we have another new board administrator from last time. So I know Shannon's on, there she is. So just so everybody on the board knows, Shannon's going to be the person that's now taking over Bob's role. I know they're big shoes to fill, but I'm sure she's up to the task. So
welcome aboard, Shannon. Welcome, Shannon.
Thank you.
All right, so first item on the agenda is, and Shannon, I don't know who actually put this agenda together, but in the future, and in the past, we've always had everything numbered. It's just easier for us to keep track of stuff. So, you know,
that was Verinda.
Yeah, so but going forward, if you wouldn't mind numbering the items, just so that we can kind of keep them in a certain order and we can track them, it makes it a little bit easier for us. So the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting, which is the July 15th meeting. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Twig.
There was one thing, there was a highlighted section in the minutes and
Right,
it appears that,
yeah, can we just get, did you second it first and then we could have a discussion?
okay, second.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think Angela's name was spelled incorrectly.
Yes,
Yeah, I noticed that.
so if we can just make that one correction on that.
Correct.
All
Or
right,
it was Angie.
Right, it was Angie, Cahill
Angie.
as opposed to Angela.
with that said, do I have a motion to approve? Do I have everybody in favor of approving the minutes with that one modification?
Aye.
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 It's unanimous, Bob. Second thing is the DCP investigative status report. Maybe I missed it, but did we get a report? I didn't see one.
No, I haven't. I had not received a report. Shannon, I don't think Shannon got one either.
So Shannon, maybe if you can just follow up with DCP so that generally they give us a report just before the meeting, kind of summarizes, you know, all the complaints, open items, closed items, things like that. And many times Janita is really actually on the call too, but so that's an item that's going to be on our agenda every month. Both of these are obviously. So if you can just follow up with them to make sure we get that report before the next meeting.
Alrighty.
It kind of leads right into the next item, DCP Legal Division update. Is anybody from legal on? I know there's been a lot of turnover. I've been getting emails from Julian about different people. So I don't know, have the name of the person right now who's our legal counsel, but I know Jason was on. So Jason, can you just tell us who our legal counsel is again for the board?
I mean, I'm not sure offhand. I'm not aware of any changes, but we could certainly, follow up on that.
So, but in the future, we'd like somebody to be on this to go over the DCP investigations. So generally, they are on our meetings. I don't see anybody. Bob, do you see anybody on?
I don't, Phil.
Okay.
Isn't Janita on vacation?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that might be the reason.
She does
Okay.
she always does the spreadsheet, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah, in the past, she's right. She would usually forward that to me, a couple days before the meeting, and I would send that out. I had not received anything.
Okay. All right. So those items are all, standing items on our agenda every month, Shannon.
Yeah, I do see that Cynthia Fernandez and is on the invite, and so is Pam Brown, who's Janita's supervisor. So they certainly knew about the meeting. But.
That's fine. And I'm just going through the agenda, and I know we're on to old business now, but Shannon, there's generally a line item on here also that's towards the beginning of the agenda of any concerns of any person that's on the call that might not be one of the board members. So that gives them the opportunity. I'm going to kind of plug that in right now and just say, go ahead, Gina. I know you did.
I did not see, usually I get a copy of the agenda. Bob always sends it to me. So if you could make sure that I get a copy of the agenda in the minutes, or at least let me know if it's already up on your website. Because I use that for all the newly licensed. So you know, Shannon, I'm sorry, I'm Gina Calabro. I'm the executive director for AIA Connecticut, which is the American Institute of Architects in Connecticut. So we always use that because we, at the end of the year, Bob always supplied me with a list of all the newly licensed, because we now do all the certificates since the Department of Consumer Protection stopped doing it, I believe, like 6 or 7 years ago. So we now supply all the newly licensed a certificate that is signed by the commissioner and by the chair of the licensing board.
Yeah,
So how
those
we did it in the
licensing,
past was, I sent everything over to David Barkin, who was the previous chairman, and then he had the commissioner sign all of them. With Phil, David working for the state, that worked a little easier. I would think then with Phil as the chairman now, we'll send them over to Phil first to sign, or send them to Phil. You could let me know how to handle that, whether we send them over first to the commissioner to sign, and then we get them after. We'll figure out whatever we're going to do it, but we need signatures on both. We then do a newly licensed reception for everybody who's been licensed for. It will be for 2022. We'll do it in 2023 in January.
If need be, Gina, I could just come to your office. Might be the easiest thing.
Okay.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, I didn't know, is the agenda, because I didn't see one up on the screen. Is it on the website right now, the agenda and the minutes?
it is, yeah, it's always posted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So here's the agenda. I'm sorry, I forgot, I didn't realize I didn't pull it up, but so we just started really right here. But that's why it's nice when these are numbered, and we should have we should make sure we have the right distribution list, obviously. Is there anybody else, Bob, that should be getting the agenda besides Gina, who's not on the board?
No, Phil, in the past, Gina was just, I made her, I would send her the Zoom invite and a copy of the agenda.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, there was no, unless I had specific requests. But the agenda, like Jason said, the agenda was always posted, is always posted on our department website and also on the general meetings calendar for the secretary, state's office also.
Okay.
So, and that's the link to come on as a, not as a panelist, but as a attendee. And then if they wanted to, the Zoom host can promote from there.
Right.
The agenda generally goes out with the invite, which I didn't handle,
Right.
but that goes out to everyone that's invited. So
Well,
it would
there's-
have been attached.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a little confusion for this meeting because of the fact that we turned over board administrators twice in the last 2 months. So I understand all that. We just want to make sure going forward, we get it straight.
Okay.
All right. So then I'm down to old business, which these are 2 items that have been on the agenda that are just kind of placeholders for now. The continuation education hours for architects. We have gotten several, although really not that many people that have asked for extensions or waivers. And I think for the most part, we've granted them, right, Bob? Although we haven't granted all of them. And I don't know that we have any that have come in more recently, do we?
We don't have any more, Phil, though we've reconciled the ones that came in. Some, I think from memory, they weren't waivers, they were just extensions and based upon the individual circumstances. And those were noted and put in the credentials a couple months ago. So,
Okay.
But we have not received any more since, no.
Okay, beautiful. And the questions from the legal division concerning clarifications of whether to use the title architectural designer is a violation. To me, it's clearly a violation. I'm not even sure why that's still on our agenda. Were we looking for an interpretation from legal? It's pretty cut and dry.
Phil, I think what happened was a few months back, if my memory serves correct, Cynthia Fernandez had brought that question before the board, and then she asked that it be taken off the agenda because the particular case associated with that was still being worked on by legal, was not reconciled yet. So to my knowledge, that should still be off the agenda.
Yeah, well, it's on. So Shannon, can we take that off for the next meeting, please?
Sure.
Then under new business, it seems like we're really, really light on reciprocal licenses this month, or on licenses in general compared to the past. I have initial license by written examination of Jason Daniel Wyman from Stanford. And then Bob, you added those other two to the agenda
Correct.
just yesterday or the day before, and I think they're both on the call. It's Molly Salafia and Christopher Soteri. Now, were they both initial licensed by examination?
Yes, initial license by examination. We have the NCARB council records that were reviewed and vetted. So that it's, yes, they're initial license. That's why they're on the agenda. So,
And I'm assuming that you reviewed everything's on order, and we need to vote on that, right?
yes,
Okay, so can I
Council
get a
record.
motion? Can I get a motion to approve the three of them for their initial licensure?
I so move.
Second,
I am on mute.
I second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So, and I know, I think they're both on. So Molly, do you have anything you want to say, or congratulations to all of you. We all know this is a long road to
Congratulations.
haul.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Christopher, either of you guys want have anything you want to say? Okay, seeing none.
You're muted if you're talking. We can't hear you. I can't hear.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
No.
Okay, so architectural corporations. So Bob, are these, we don't have to vote on these, right? These have already been approved. They're just for our information.
Yeah, okay, correct. All right, just the agenda, it's a little bit, the order is different, I'm sorry. We should have
Yes, I know that.
corporations. Just, okay, yeah, the corporations, as always, have been reviewed by the department, myself, and they were approved as they come in unless there's issues, but if they're on the agenda, they're for the board's information.
Right, so Shannon, going forward on that agenda item, and I understand you literally just got this job assigned to you. It should note that these have been already approved and they are just on here for our information, that we don't have to actually act on them. But so we have EGA Architects from Massachusetts, G.Dot Design, Page Sutherland, Page Inc., Poets Design and Research Workshop, Robert Young Architects, Slade Architecture, and So Architects. So those have already been approved by the administration.
Okay, so would you not want them included in the minutes, or you want me to list
No,
them?
we still want them there, just so we know, but there's nothing for us to really act on. It's really for our information, just so that we know what's going on.
Okay,
The agenda obviously was pretty short this morning. Angela actually sent me a few things that she wanted me to just mention. The first one just was, does anybody on the state level have any idea if and when we're ever going back to in-person meetings?
There's no plan to switch to in-person, but there's nothing preventing you from in-person. So if any board should decide that you want to meet in person at any point, you can. You could do every other or every fourth meeting in person, or whatever you choose to do. But there's no plan to go in person. Most boards seem to be appreciating this remote method, convenient and. But there's certainly nothing preventing you should you decide to meet in person. We are discouraging hybrid, where there's some in person and some remote, because that's hard to make work. But if the entire board wants to do remote or in person, it's really up to you.
Well, I personally am a huge advocate of starting the meetings in person again, maybe not the next one, but maybe starting in 2023. Twig, Julia, Lorraine, do you guys have any thoughts on this?
I love Zoom.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
You're a little predictable.
it's, I am. It's really,
And I know Lorraine
Much
and Julia are
easier.
pretty close by, so probably it's not much of an inconvenience for them.
yeah.
I have the
mean,
furthest to go, but
Whatever works, but frankly, I haven't been going in the office very much. So, but whatever works, I will go in the office those days if you want it in person.
Yeah, me too. I'm with Lauren.
fine. So why don't we, Shannon, if you can put this on our agenda for the next meeting, when Angela's here too, and we can have a conversation and make a decision if we want to start doing some of them. And as Jason said, it could be every other one in person and every one in between as a Zoom meeting, but I'd love to start making them in person. I just think it's more productive for everybody, but I understand there's a time commitment and all of that, so. But along those lines, Bob, we were all given, and Julia probably never even got one, we were all given security badges when we got on the board. If we
Yes, I
wanna
want
get-
one.
Yeah, that thing has
The
no
official.
chance of working.
If I remember correctly, if you don't use it after so much time, it
Yeah.
deactivates.
That's
So
100%
Expired.
Right,
Yeah.
which leads to the question of, if we want to, can we go to security and have it reactivated?
but if you go to every other, then that deactivation issue may become
Yeah, so I don't remember, Bob, what was the timeline on that? How long they're active?
3
for?
months,
Boy,
4
you know,
months.
Phil, I don't remember. I know there
I think
was,
it's 90 days.
um,
I missed a meeting and could not.
You're right. Yeah, you're 100% right. You miss
Yeah.
one meeting and it becomes deactive.
Yeah.
Although, I
They have
wonder,
some flexibility on 90 days, or they may be able to program it at security to go.
I think they
longer.
did for me. I think they did for me because I asked them to do that and I don't remember what the timing was.
I don't remember either.
But maybe that's a question. I don't know if Robert, is that something you can ask or someone else? I don't know.
Well,
it would,
go
it
to
would be,
Shannon at this point.
yeah, it would be
Okay.
Shannon at this point. I'm, kind of in the background here at this point. I'm a temporary employee, so.
Okay.
So Shannon, if you, maybe between now and the next meeting, you can just investigate and find out if we can get our security badges reactivated and if it's possible to have them activated for 6 months instead of 3 months.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
within
maybe
6 months,
Jason
you're
can
probably-
chime in on that. I'm not sure.
They should
You
be
and I
able
can
to,
work on that. Just remind me, Shannon, and you and I can work on that.
Okay.
Anyway, I mean, it's not super critical today, but it'd be nice to know. The other thing was, I'm not sure, and I'm trying to get everybody onto the mailing lists now, and I know it's been a moving target, but Julia, I think we finally got you on all the mailing lists for NECARB and NCARB. Shannon, as you saw my email this morning, I'm getting you on them now because that'll tell you a lot about the regional meetings and the annual meetings. And I'll send out an email just so that everybody, because I have a feeling that some people may not know when all our meetings are coming up, but we have our fall meeting, as you guys know, which we're hosting in October in Hartford, in West Hartford. That's October 21st and 22nd.
Mhm.
Shannon, if you can come for even part of the meeting, it would be really good. You'll get to meet a lot of people, know a lot of people. All the New England states will be there. So I'm happy to have an offline conversation with you about it and about some of these other meetings coming forward, because we do get funded for MBEs to come to some of these meetings. The next one after that is a little bit more exciting, maybe not, but it's in Honolulu. So that's the spring meeting on March 1st to 5th. And then the annual meeting next year is June 15th to 18th. I'll send everybody to those dates just so that I make sure that everybody has the dates going forward. Because before you know it, those dates will be here. None of the registration's out for any of them yet, but especially the one in Hawaii. People are going to want to plan that a little bit further ahead if they're going to go. So we do get funded, and we get funded for a certain amount of people to go to all the meetings, right? So the meeting in Hartford, there's no registration fee. It's a regional meeting, doesn't cost anything to go to the meeting. The region pays for 6 hotel nights for people who are going to stay over. We always figure out how to make that work. The annual meeting in Honolulu and Tampa are a little bit different. They're partially, one person's funded by regional, and then I think we get up to 3 people funded from national, which includes an MBE. So we could talk about, what I think some of the value is on going to some of these meetings, but when you go to the regional meetings, the knowledge you gain, I think, is wonderful, and you really kind of get a better handle on how the whole organization works and NCARB works. So, but we can talk about that going forward, but I'll just make sure everybody has those dates. I'm also going to contact NCARB. In the past, NCARB's had a new member orientation. I think Twig and Lorraine, I think you guys might have went to it, right?
Yep.
I don't know if they have one set up for this coming year, but I will make sure that Julia and Shannon, they have your names. It's usually held in, it's always been held in Washington, but it maybe is being held virtually now. I'm not really sure, although most of the NCARB meetings are held in person. But it's, you know, it's, and again, they pay all your expenses, and it's usually a couple of days of just orientation about, you know, the board and NCARB and your involvement and all of that. So I'll make sure that Josh over at NCARB has your information. And if they start doing it, you'll be on the list for it for sure. Or if I hear anything, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
That's all that I have. I don't know if anybody else has anything else.
Phil, if I may, you might want to just mention the reciprocal applications that were listed. I don't think you brought, just for on the record, it was 78.
Yeah, so I knew something was missing where we had a lot. Okay. So Shannon, we generally, and maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea, Bob, for Shannon to just see kind of our last two agendas in minutes, because it'll give her a better handle on what's really on our agendas as standing items too. So everybody that comes through to Connecticut that's reciprocal,
Yeah, I had
that's given
forwarded
their
those.
license.
Okay, yep.
We list them on our agenda just so you can see who they are. Again, it's for our information. We don't vote on them. Bob and staff, meaning going forward, Shannon, you and staff, are the ones who say they meet the requirements or they don't. So, anything else, Bob, that should be on the agenda that's not?
I have nothing, Phil. No, applications are coming in pretty quickly, but like I said, I've.
Right, and they are processed. I mean, them not being on the agenda is not holding anybody up from getting their license. They're all getting processed. Just we like to know what's going on about them.
Correct.
So, I guess the biggest thing is we need to make sure that going forward that we do get the DCP investigative list as part of our agenda and package. And maybe if Denise is on vacation, might have been the reason we didn't get it this month. The other, Gina, one more second, I'm sorry. Shannon, the other thing, I think this information's out there someplace. And if it is, if you could send out an email to or everybody on the board that tells us when the meetings for 2023 are going to be, because we're almost there for January. So it'd be good if everybody had that information so we can get them on our calendar for next year to make sure if there's any major conflicts that we could work around it.
It was, to my understanding, all of the proposed dates were sent out.
Okay, I'll double check.
I could be wrong.
I'll check and see if I
Yeah,
have.
I'll look into that.
Okay, if you could. Okay. Gina, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay, Phil. I was on the website. I don't see July's agenda or minutes. And the only thing that was up was September's agenda.
Okay. Again, I think part of it's just we're in this whole transition stage right now, so.
Previous agendas won't be maintained each time a new meeting comes up. It's my understanding the new agenda is placed. We don't keep the previous on the web, just the minutes.
They're under 2022. There's a link and it has all the previous information for each of the meetings.
Right, but we,
Well, the
yeah,
meeting
we're not
minutes.
changing. Yeah, we're not posting old agendas any longer. Just, keeping all the minutes. The old agendas will always be available on the Secretary of State's website, but on the DCP website, we're only going to have the upcoming agenda along with all of the old minutes.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say, but I didn't see the July because I wanted to pull, as I said, all the names, because we also look at who gets reciprocal license in this state. Thank you.
Let's see.
Anybody else have anything?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to say thank you. It took me this whole time to try to connect to my my microphone in, but I just wanted to say thank you to the board and thanks for getting me in today. I'm so happy, so excited.
Excellent, Chris. Congratulations.
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 Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Congratulations, Chris.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate everything.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? So Bob, how many more times will we see you at the next meeting?
I believe there's one more meeting in November. I plan on attending. and I'll be working with Shannon. I'm still, the applications are coming in left and right, so I'm trying to keep up with those.
Okay. Because I'm assuming Shannon's not just doing our board, she's administrator for other boards too, right?
I believe so, yes, yes. Board coordinator for many boards.
Mhm.
I see her shaking her head. So,
Yes,
um,
14,
14 boards.
Whoa.
yes. Just a few.
Excuse me.
All right. Anything else? I hope I'm going to see, I know I'm going to see most of you in Hartford in a few weeks. So, excuse me.
Sorry. No, go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry.
No, you go, Twig.
I have to have some surgery to correct an issue with my vision. If I'm able to drive, and depending on the raccoon eyes, I'll attend the October meeting. I won't be staying over.
Okay.
But I scheduled the surgery so that hopefully I'll be able to at least attend.
That'd be great. I mean, the agenda for the meeting, as you probably all know, is on Friday afternoon. It's the Licensing Advisors Conference. That's going to be at U Hartford, and then, which will be fun. And then on Saturday morning is our business session for the regional meeting. And then Saturday afternoon is a walking tour of Hartford, which Angela's really arranged most of that. So I think it'll be great. All right. Seeing nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Hi,
Bye.
All right.
Have a
Enjoy
good
the
weekend,
guys.
everybody.
Bye.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Congratulations, new licensees.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.